What's a happening, nerds? This is John, nerding out with cards, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of talk about some cards I got in, a couple news events kind of thing that kind of tie into collecting in a way. And then, my last video I said it'd probably be like another month or so before I did another video, and we're kind of coming up on that, and I'll talk more about that after we show some cards. So, because that's what we all like, right? So anyway, as far as the pickups go, I'm gonna kind of break it up because my pickups fit 3 different collection scopes, and I'm gonna focus on my main one, and y'all know who that is. It's Ozzie Smith. And so this one makes me think of a couple recent videos that I had seen first, and I'll show the card while I'm blabbing away. So Mangini was on Sports Card Dad's channel, and he was talking about a lot of things. However, one of the things that he was talking about was always learning, right? So he's been collecting for decades, and he's still learning about new cards, new sets, and things like that. And this one really fits that for me, right? So how I have my comprehensive Ozzie Smith checklist, and it was at 906 cards. Well, I learned of more cards, such as this one. It is not on Trading Card Database. It is what it is, right? I'm going to consider it a card. But I was scrolling on the eBay, and I saw this, asked about it on the Ozzie Smith Facebook group that I'm on, and some of them knew about it as far as the origin, the year, and whatnot. So this appears to have been a promotional item for Vess Soda, now defunct company, but the image is pretty much the same that was used on some of like the team issued cards, and so it's like mid 80s. For the purposes of my checklist, it's going to be a 1985 card. And so now my checklist is up to 909 cards, and what you'll see in this video, I'm up to 878 now with these pickups. But like I said, it's a card that I did not know existed before, and so it's just one of those things, right? You think you know so much, well, there's more to learn, right? And if you had seen Sammy Thunder's recent video where he got the McGregor Willie Mays advertisement card, and he had asked like if you have any or anything like that, and I feel like this is in the same vein, right? This is an advertisement card for Vess Soda, similar to the Willie Mays McGregor that he had picked up from Mike Petty. So Sammy, to kind of answer your question, well, here's one right here, and this is a new pickup for me, right? So that's one Ozzie Smith I got in. And to go along the same lines about cards you didn't know it had existed, you all know I'm a big fan of collecting Nolan, Russ over there, and he was doing one of his Sensational Set Sundays, which I love that series. I highly recommend you check it out. But he was talking about these 1987 Purina cards, and if you remember, I did my binder rummage of Ozzie Smith, and I had actually pulled out this card, or one that looks a lot like it. However, the one that I had pulled out said 1987 collector's edition right here, and Russ was talking about there's variants in which that text does not exist on the face of the card, like this one you're seeing right here. And so it was something that it was like it came on a sheet, and these are all hand cut. And so after watching his video, I was like, I don't have that. So thanks to Russ over at Collecting Nolan, I was able to go on the eBay, and very inexpensive card. That's another sweet thing, is this one was inexpensive too. This was like $10-11. This one I got for I think $2 or $3. So when I'm at a point in my Ozzie Smith collection where it's hard to find more of the inexpensive cards, these were sweet, right? So again, thank you, Russ. and here's the back if you are interested. And then the third one, like you said, so this was 876, 877. I got 878 now, and that's because there's this card. And when I did make that checklist a couple years ago, there was a number of cards, of course, but this is one of them. I have had a saved eBay search for the last 2 years trying to find this card, and it's a 1992 Stadium Club Ozzie Smith, which is not hard to find on its own. However, if you look at that stamp here, which is really hard to make out, but ironically enough, right, you know, we all watch those national videos, and well, this is a national collectors convention, 1992, when it was in Atlanta. And so, like I said, that was harder card to find, but I was finally able to get it before. It was like $35, might be an overpay, I don't know, all in, but you know, finally was able to cross this off the checklist. Like I said, when you know, some of these cards are getting into the hundreds and hundreds of dollars, some of like the Mirror Gold, like thousands of dollars. It's always awesome to find these cards. So those are my 3 Ozzie Smith pickups. Now I wanted to kind of transition into some more like news, hobby, whatever you want to call them, kind of topics. Is, you know, since the last time I made a video, we had the passing of Ryne Sandberg, and it was one of those things where it's like, I remember watching him play, so it's just another reminder that, you know, we're getting older and things like that. You know, there's tons of Cubs fans that are also content creators. There's tons of Cubs fans that are, you know, video watchers and commenters. You know, so it really kind of, you know, sucks for them. Really kind of sucks for baseball, you know, because he had been battling cancer. We thought he was getting better. Then it came back, and you know, it felt like just like a week before he passed, it was he said that he was feeling better, and then all of a sudden, you know, like you know, the shocking news that he had passed, and it kind of got me thinking, right, you know, about these players that, you know, we watched play like when we were children, and some of us, yeah, grew up in different eras and things like that. But, you know, of course, you know, my guy is Ozzie Smith, and got to thinking, you know, for so many years, you know, Stan Musial, you know, he was like the patriarch for so many years of my life. You know, he passed away in what, 13, so I was like 28 years old. And so then when he passed, you know, it was Red. Well, then, you know, he passed away in, what was it, 2018? And then you had Bob and Lou, and, you know, they were like the patriarchs of the Cardinals. And of course, they passed in recent years. And so it's like, wow, Ozzie Smith is like the patriarch of the Cardinals now. You know, because Bruce Sutter's gone and things like that. So kind of made me think about, you know, this card right here, where I got to meet Ozzie Smith, and I was able to get a picture with my Ozzie Smith collection. And you know, it's just one of those things, like, you know, standing in line sucks. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, that you don't remember the standing in line, you know, you remember this moment. And I'm really glad that I have this, you know, I have that memory and everything. You know, Ozzie's in his mid 60s now, approaching late 60s, and, you know, like I say, he's the face, he's the patriarch of the Cardinals now. And it's, you know, Ryne Sandberg's passing just kind of made me think of that. So I don't know if maybe that's kind of something y'all think about, but a little bit less morbid news, if that's how you describe it. But, you know, like what was in the news today, right? And, you know, is Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift getting engaged and things like that. And you're like, dude, why are you talking about that? But a common topic, a common theme amongst all these videos and channels that we watch is card values, right? And it's like Stan Musial, he's undervalued. Frank Robinson, he's undervalued. And there's also the commentary, which I kind of personally agree with. It's like, no, they're properly valued. They're valued at what they are because of the supply and demand, right? But what makes a player's card more valuable? Historical significance, social significance, et cetera, et cetera. And it's one of those things like, you've seen me show this card before. This Travis Kelce 2013 Topps Legends Gold, numbered out of 99, rookie card. And it's, like I said, with when I bought this in 2016, it was a very inexpensive card. He had a couple decent seasons and, missed all of his rookie season due to injury and things like that. And then, he's gone on to become one of the most prolific tight ends in NFL history. Okay, that's cool. That's great. Won multiple Super Bowls, been to 5, single season reception yards record for a tight end, and, climbing up the all-time ranks in other categories and things like that. I mean, that's great. There's tons of statistically great players that their cards aren't as valuable as you would expect, right? Well, now it's like this, like I said, this card is like skyrocketed because of all the things I had just mentioned. Well, now it's one of those things like a player, when they retire, there's like that lull, and then when they get inducted into Hall of Fame, there's a spike, and then it kind of comes back to center, kind of thing. But if he ends up marrying Taylor Swift, I mean, he will be in the limelight, and does something like that like affect his card values and make this card more valuable? I mean, what weird events that can occur that affect a player's card's value, right? It's like I'm not selling this, but it's one of those things that when I saw the news today, it's just like, okay, that's cool, cute, whatever. Doesn't really impact me at all. How is he gonna do on the field? I just hope he has a good season. But then I was preparing to do this video and get my cards out, and I saw this card, and it made me think of the card more like the news of the day, from a hobby perspective. One of those weird things that you didn't expect. But anyway, like I said, those are some pickups and a couple things to talk about. But the now I'm gonna get into so the last month, I had anticipated being in Seattle by now. That did not occur. We're still in Vallejo, California, in dry dock because of unfortunate events. I'm not going to bore y'all with that, but it's like, I was saying, I'm going to be living on the ship. Well, that's where I'm filming this from. I'm filming this from my stateroom. There's not a lot of privacy. I'll kind of show that later. I have a roommate, and so it really just kind of sucks. But I'll show the room so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about, right? The lighting ain't great. It's a small space, no privacy. If y'all watch the 4 collectors, 5 cards everybody should own, where I got to be on it, like I said, it was not a very good environment for that. Video is super grainy because of reception and things. Could have gone better for sure. It didn't come out as bad as I was scared it would. But at the same time, it's like I still want to do videos. So screw it. Just make a damn video, right? But yeah, so anyway, like I said, they were able to bring some mail down from Seattle down to here. That's how I was able to get some cards to show off, because, well, hopefully we'll be in Seattle by the end of September. We'll see. This really kind of sucks, but that's kind of what's been going on the last month. I was able to work on my resume. you know, because I'm transitioning out of the Coast Guard here. You know, I got 121 days left on the boat and go back home on terminal leave and all that after 20 years. And so getting ready for the next phase of life. But yeah, so I'll pick this up and I'll show you. So, you know, like this is my door. You got the lockers. You know, that's my rack. That's what I get to sleep in, and it's uncomfortable. Really sucks. You know, so there's my roommate's rack. You know, and my locker and my desk. You look up here. I got Cardinals pennant, Chiefs Kingdom flag. My roommate, he doesn't have a choice in the matter. He moved in my room. Don't care. But the Chiefs Kingdom flag is right next to that sweet asbestos placard. Oh man, it's great. And then there's the door again. So yeah, this is, you know, this is where I live. For the next 4 months approximately. But and I'll get some footage outside too, you know, showing the cutter in dry dock. You know that's a little bit more appealing than what you're looking at right here. So anyway, you know, I'll try to do another video again, maybe sometime soon. But anyway, you know, I'll show the footage outside, but y'all have a good one.